Let's look at the other top story that we've been focusing on. Of course, the developments taking place in Afghanistan. Now, days after the blast at Kabul airport killed at least 170 people, including certain U.S. troop members as well. Now, the U.S. government has warned of another possible attack which might take place near the Kabul airport. Now, this warning comes from the U.S. President Joe Biden himself, who said that he has been informed by his military commanders that there's possibility of another attack taking place near the Kabul airport over the next 24 to 36 hours. In fact, the U.S. Embassy in Kabul has asked its citizens to leave the airport immediately and to take all the precautions that they can, and only to come to the airport after specific instructions. In fact, this comes in at a time when the U.S. has only had 2 days to wind up its its operations, in terms of the fact that they have to complete the troops withdrawal by the end of this month, which is another 2 days to go. And the Taliban, of course, has warned of consequences if that deadline is not met. A crowd of desperate Afghans continues to swell near the Kabul airport, and Pentagon, meanwhile, has claimed that they have killed 2 IS, Islamic State Khorasan members, and one of them apparently was part of the plan part of the team which executed that plan of suicide bomb attacks taking place near the Kabul airport a couple of days back. So these are the latest developments that we are getting in on this story from Afghanistan, where even as the US has 2 more days to go in terms of troops withdrawal, they have warned of a fresh attack. They are worried that there could be another attack which takes place near the Kabul airport, maybe as soon as within the next 24 to 36 hours. Let's also take a look at some other developments coming in from Afghanistan. An Afghan woman delivered a baby on a UK-bound evacuation flight in the absence of a doctor on the plane. The Turkish Airlines staff stepped in to help the 26-year-old mother give birth at 30,000 feet above ground. Afghan evacuees reached Ukraine. The Ukrainian government evacuated around 400 Afghans on Saturday, including 80 Ukrainian nationals. Italian NATO ambassador in Afghanistan assured the country is not abandoning those Afghans who have been left behind. This after Italy's final evacuation flight with 58 refugees landed in Rome. Italy said they did their best under the given circumstances. Britain has started bringing back its troops from Afghanistan. A Royal Air Force plane carrying soldiers landed northwest of London. The troops are part of a contingent of 1,000 that has been based in Kabul to help run the airlift. As soon as Spanish forces along with few Afghan rescuees arrived in Madrid, Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez said they are mulling to set up an operation to bring back those Afghan allies who could not be evacuated. Spain has concluded the evacuation of its citizens a day after the attacks in Kabul airport. Dozens of people protested near the Eiffel Tower in Paris in support of the Afghan women after the Taliban takeover of the country. The protesters asked the French government to open the borders to welcome Afghan evacuees and to prioritize women and children among them. Let me go across to Times Network's National Affairs editor Srinjoy Chaudhary, who's joining us on this. Srinjoy, what we can in fact see in the latest developments coming in from Afghanistan, while there's only 2 days to go now for the troops withdrawal to be completed by the US, they are also apprehensive of a possible attack taking place over the next 24 to 36 hours. This definitely makes the operation, not just for the US, but for other countries also, which are carrying out their evacuations, much more dangerous than the already heightened danger levels that they were looking at post the airport strikes.
There's no doubt about that. First of all, we have to see if the evacuation continues after the 31st of August. America said that it will do it. We'll have to see how this is worked out. After all, America can tell the Taliban. They have been talking for 2 years. So why can't the evacuation continue for perhaps another 2 weeks? is perhaps what the Americans will tell the Taliban. So that is really one. We have to see whether the evacuation process ends on the 31st or not. The second point, yes, undoubtedly, it is going to be much more dangerous, much more difficult, because here, IS, Al-Qaeda, all these people are now free. Their jails have been opened, and all these people have been freed. They are moving around everywhere, doing whatever they wish. And if they have sent in a suicide bomber, clearly someone had to make the bomb, someone had to get the suicide bomber, and most importantly, someone had to open the gates of the airport so that this suicide bomber could slip in. Now that this has happened, perhaps people will be much more careful, and hopefully this will not happen again. Because if there is anything worse than this entire process, it is of women and children who are waiting to fly out of Afghanistan being badly injured or killed, as has been the case. So this is up to the Taliban to ensure that the perimeter of the Kabul airfield is actually safe.
Right. Srinjoy, thank you so much for joining us with that perspective there.